What's up, babes? How we doing and Happy New Year? It's kind of insane I'm saying that on the 17th, but I am. Oda has not released a chapter in some time, and I don't blame him. If you saw, there was a little note of what he did during his New Year's. He's drinking non-alcoholic beer. What did he say exactly? The man, he went to Mayeko Jima over New Year's and chilled out with some, I don't even know what that is, Courage, shampoo, and non-alcoholic beer. Living it up like it's already summer. Which is good. Sounds like he's in high spirits, or at least he's trying to convince us, and I'm convinced at least that he is in good health. So, yeah, getting into the chapter. Solid chapter. I mean, it's good. It's kind of tough not to have a good chapter when we've been off for 3 weeks, you know? I'm not going to, like, be super picky with it, you know? But we get some nice back and forth, everything that we were kind of talking about before. They did bring up Lin Lin, which I thought was solid. The ugly guy from before that kind of wasted our time at the beginning of this arc apologized. Zoro kind of had a moment where his nose seemed to be drawn kind of weird, by the way. Unless that's part of the mask. Talking about how it would have been his head if it was actually serious, which is true. It just seemed like it wasn't very necessary. But anyway, that guy's along for the ride as well. And the few interesting things that happened in this chapter was the Herald's Tale, or Harley. Herald's the name of the previous king that was killed by Loki, kind of because of the Harley Tale, the Harley texts, excuse me. But it's basically Sun God Nika, and I think this is new information. Them basically saying that this has happened not once but 2 times before, because we only know about the last time. What we believe to be the Void Century is the cleansing that happened before. Everything that the man, the myth, the legend, Vegapunk, I almost forgot his name, Vegapunk was speaking about. But to know that there was another one, that's super interesting. This is their version of the sun god. Everyone seems to have it. Elbaf seems to maybe be the oldest civilization that still roams today, which is another reason why they might see giants as super dangerous in the government, just kind of in general, just because they know too much. The fact that we are being informed that there was not one but 2 of those is kind of a big deal, because now we know that it's been a thing. It kind of brings up some other questions on what exactly Emu's about and things like that, but the 2, I wouldn't overlook that. I think that that's probably a fact, and I think that that's really interesting. I like that Luffy didn't bring it up, which I find incredible, that he was not like, I'm the guy, like I'm him. But we could start to see some like competition for the role, which would be weird because it's pretty clear that it's Luffy, but coming towards the end, I think that maybe that's not going to be 100% clear, but it seems clear as hell. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me that we keep bringing this thing up when we know that Luffy is Sun God Nika. But anyway, they tell a little bit more about Loki. He's starting to grow on me more and more. I like that he was always kind of a jackass. Not even necessarily a prankster, but somebody that just really liked violence and shaking up the status quo. He was not cool with how things were. And he killed King Harold, the greatest monarch. Why that is, I'm not sure. We don't know much about him. I don't know if we really will or if we need to. I don't really think that we even need to know much more about him, but then they were able to capture him. But I think before this time, they were like, no, Shanks is the one that captured the dude. I think that that's actually old news, but Shanks was the dude that captured Loki and stopped him, because it looks like nobody on this island was capable of doing that, which is cool. I'm glad that there's like one strong giant and it's not just like we're all super strong. It's like, no, there's one guy who's like really about it. Some guy who's already on like Yonko, if not beyond that, to our new level here. But then what was interesting is they immediately go to the village outskirts, and Luffy and Zoro are having a conversation about how Luffy was going to let him free. And what's interesting is he doesn't necessarily say that he's not going to let him free. I think that they are going to go ahead and release him, but the people that we know that are already there, Mystery Shanks and Gunko is her name, but Oda never makes a mistake on who is involved on any given journey. So he has the main three here. He has the first three along with the slave man, which is interesting. I think he'll be kind of our point of view moving forward of what exactly is a big deal, not only on this island, but for giants in general. How big of a danger Loki is, maybe shedding some light on that. Nami has another slave, I guess. Cool, whatever. They're talking about the castle. I think that they're going to start to see that something has gone wrong, and those guys are gonna be like, hey, like there's some dudes that went down to Loki, and he's like, oh shit. But it's gonna be interesting to see where we go from here when they're finally gonna meet up, because what happens if they just leave and they're just like done with it, or if they beat the crap out of Loki and then Loki kind of, we start to feel some sympathy for him, which I don't really want, but I could see happening. It's interesting to see that these people are God's Knights. And I can almost immediately say that my previous theory of Underworld is kind of done. It's kind of done, and I'm kind of fine with that. I think that it was kind of loose in general. But something that has not left my mind is, and I looked at it again, and just kind of two random thoughts. When they went to Laughtail, and then they come back, and he tells Shanks something, and Shanks is crying. That moment is like so vital, but I don't know why. I think it has something to do with this. I'm thinking about Garfinland. What's his name? Garland. Yeah, young Garland, old Garland. How he might just be slanging it. How it might be a twin. How it hopefully, I guess, is like a clone. But that being Shanks doesn't make like a whole lot of sense. It really doesn't. Another random thing, because I was looking back at those episodes with Roger's journey, was I think that Buggy's almost guaranteed to make it to Laughtail. Just because I think him and Shanks have to see it. And I think that that kind of was a little bit foreshadowed there. But I think that they're both going to be there, which I find pretty cool. Because Buggy's going to be there for no reason, out of nowhere. And it does answer some questions. Because that could be the second to last, or now possibly the last spotlight they have to go. I still think that it's second to last. The Red Line will be the last kind of area, along with Mary Joie. But we'll see. It's kind of tough to tell at this point. Who knows? And now that we have like teleportation involved, even if like it's through Emu and he can only do his guys, even if that is the case, there might be some goofy stuff where they kind of just end up there, and then could be teleported back at any point. But having teleportation is huge, just in play for traveling. We'll see how that works. Her power very similar to what we saw from Emu in Mary Joie when he was fighting with Sabo and killing Cobra, but a lighter version, but something that we've already seen before. My favorite dialogue of the entire chapter was definitely Loki just being like, because they were holding this dude hostage, and he's like, if you're gonna hold him like that, and that's kind of going against what I believe, I guess, I wish him peace in his death. I was like, damn. And he's like, I'll just keep swallowing my fury until I'm able to unleash it on the whole world. I'm like, that guy is hard as hell. So we'll see where this goes. I don't think we're gonna get. We might get the conflict next week, but because there's no break, thankfully. But they can like teleport from anywhere, so maybe they just fucking leave and they're just like, oh, we have Loki. But they wouldn't do that because that's kind of, this is the conflict. They are the antagonists if it doesn't turn into Loki. Right now, it's just interesting. I don't know if they have Luffy and the crew mull over the idea of that being actual Shanks, and then if the Giants know kind of what's going on with that. But it doesn't seem like enough conflict to me, unless Luffy meets face to face with Shanks. So, clone Shanks, brother Shanks, who knows? I still don't know, and I'm still not super psyched for it, but we're gonna hopefully see it soon. Till then, solid chapter. Glad to be back. Glad to have a chapter next week. Glad Oda's rested, and another year, 2025 of One Piece. So, hope you guys enjoyed the chapter like I did, and I will catch you next week. Adios.